In William Leavitt's book, A Modern Method for Guitar, the second volume, he talks about the 4 basic major scale fingering patterns. As I've just talked about defining what position actually is, the major scale fingering patterns are very important to learn because it means we can learn all sorts of different shapes for every single major scale. And this is really for intermediate and up to advanced players. However, I always like to start teaching a lot of my beginners and make them aware of the different possibilities for every major scale, the different fingerings, and of course all the different variations that we can get playing with these 4 basic major scales. The first one is what he calls the type 1 fingering, and this is to do with stretches on the guitar. The first one is when you have to stretch out with any scale with the first finger. So for example, a basic G major scale where we play 3 notes per string, this kind of pattern, you can see that I'm stretching out of position 4. Okay, we're in position 4 because my second finger is at the 5th fret. Stretching out of position 4 to start the first note. The type 2 fingering is where we don't make any stretches whatsoever, we just keep within that pattern, so we keep within the 4 fingers to 4 frets. So for example, I could play an A major scale in position 4, starting on the A, without making any stretches whatsoever. Type 3 is a bit of an odd one, we'll come to that later on I think. However, type 3 we also don't make any stretches whatsoever. And type 3 is to do with starting on a different string, on the A string and the D string. The type 4 is when we stretch out with our little finger. So we have type 1, type 2, type 3 also, type 4. So B major, you'll notice I'll need to stretch out of this 4th position with my little finger to this note here, right here, the 6th fret on the D string. So there's the note. So just to recap, type 1 is whenever you need to stretch out with your first finger for any scale. Type 2 is when you don't do any stretches at all. Always starting on the 6th string, the E string. Type 3 is when you don't do any stretches at all either, usually starting from the A string or the D string. And type 4 is when you stretch out with your little finger. Now, they do develop, you have type 1, type 1A, type 1B and all those kind of things, and that will be discussed in another video. Okay, thanks for watching, hope you enjoy it and I hope it's been useful for you. By the William Leavitt Modern Method for Guitar Volumes 1, 2 and 3.